Khan, his most played across spring. I wonder where Heretics will go. Jungle is the likely option, as you mentioned, Jamada. Vi, obviously, very high up. I'm fine.
Quite so that Khan the Ash, and it's going to be the Naught here for Jonghoon.
I think Naught also just gives you a lot of damage. Goldberg has been, we see a little bit more.
ジャックにターゲット番が。
chances side, the two so kind of picks that.
あ、サイオンと加算って消された。ああ。なあ、いけな。あ、なあ、潰された。ジェイス。ああ、ジェイス使えない。これトップ何すんの？ブラガス？ブラガスか。ブラガスだ。あ、マルちゃん。マルちゃんいいね。でも、ブラガスの方がいい。ゼド？ゼド対カシオペアってどうなんすか？ファーストストライク。単じゃない。爆撃で。てか、そもそもレベル1でサイドに AST がそのリバーのブッシュ、バードを置いてないのも、で、プレーンプッシュして、青海レッドバフから追い出して、なぜ、ホットガンクを
Mortal Shield Bow Bloodthirster is something we're seeing quite often from AD carries, and it makes it a lot harder when you have overheal shield. I'm going to assume as we bring up the rune page, he has overheal, so he's going to have even shield.
He's even got resolve with conditioning and overgrowth. You know, man, it's almost if it. You know, some people like shield bow. It's basically the AD carry tank item, isn't it?
Advantage so much as Astralis. Instead, take these incremental gains, take these incremental wins.
まあまあまあ、こっからこ。
Yeah, I feel like this is generally a good read from Astralis as well. To me, Team Heretics have looked in two kinds of situations. Competitions like this, where you've got Jankos and Mirza together on two agency champions, where they can actually make things happen in the mid game. But then also when Jack Spectre
デリまで言うヘラルドのために寄せたのがよく中んだけでよかった。
Astralis' whole game plan has effectively just
he hasn't found any kills and he hasn't found any assists, but he is still able to get a 500 gold lead in isolation by himself. However, second dragon in the game now for Astralis. You can see they've really put priority on making sure they can get these early drakes, using the push in mid, using the push in bot, and we'll see what soul is the prize at the end of this. It's going to be an Inferno, so a good soul as well, especially on a Z actually, the amount of extra bursts, and the saplings from 113.
Yep.
It's going to be pretty deadly. Jankos working his way down towards this bottom side, did pick up the Rift Herald earlier on. There's a control ward in there, hasn't spotted him as of yet, and now will, of course, as he steps further forward. Putting more gold into Jack Spectre's pockets, obviously a benefit for the team in the long run. It's definitely not going to be a full tower that falls here. 113 might even look for the Nature's Grasp. Jankos, I can hear him starting to shout, perhaps looking for something. Jonghoon gets the engage, though there's the Nature's Grasp as well. Cyclone used, Jankos already low, and he falls for the first time this game as Astralis look to get a little bit more. The quickness coming out, Mercer with the knock-up as well. Jonghoon low, Jack Spectre gets one in response, a one-for-one trade. Perhaps more than Astralis were bargaining for down towards the bottom lane.
Bite off a little bit more than they can chew, but they stop any more plates than what could have initially gone down outside of the first charge as leader as well, just kind of chaperoning Ruby away from potentially roaming down towards the bottom side. But a good response from Astralis to stop the Herald charge. Team Heretics, you understand as well, I think the Herald was just about to time out, so they just wanted some gold, and Jankos is punished for the play.
I mean, also, where else are you going to use it, right? You can't find a gank anywhere on the map right now. Ebby's been pushing in, but he hasn't been able to take a plate here in the top side. Mid lane has always been pushed into Ruby, it seems, so it's just been a bit of a struggle for Jankos to find an effective way to use it. They do get the plates, and we'll have another look at this engage from Jonghoon.
Yeah, so it's just the engage from Jonghoon. You said it. It's pretty much just that. 1-on-3, presses Zaki, Jankos, locked down, can't move. I don't even know if he gets to really decoy. I think he just dies in the CC. That's very fun, isn't it? And like we say, Jonghoon just flashes forward, does get Jack Spectre's cleanse, but unfortunately gives over his life for it. So we'll see whether
AST どう考えても行くべきじゃないけどね。1キル取っただけで下がるべきだけど。ラッキーキルなんだよな。それの主導権がゼドがリコールしてるタイミングだから、先にワードで見えてたから追いかけなくてよなかった。
Obviously, both these teams fighting for one of our top 8 spots. You can see Astralis, a win in 95% of scenarios they would be in. So that's if we assume 50-50 odds for every other game throughout the course of the weekend. In 95% of those scenarios, Astralis make it in with a win as the Rocket stops.
ダメージやば。
Heretics have a little bit more of a road to climb, but it is possible if they can pick up one win of the next 3 in which they are facing Vitality, XL, and Astralis. Maybe Heretics can get to that 4-win mark. It's a bit of an uphill road, especially with Vitality there. Really, the question is, what XL are we going to get on day 3 of this weekend?
Yeah, exactly. We don't know how XL are going to look now that they've got Abadaga in the mid lane. We'll see how things shake out for the weekend for them as a whole, of course. But that is probably going to be the biggest game for Team Heretics, if you had to wager a guess. But game in front of them right now, not sitting too pretty at the moment. Down 1,000 gold, down 2 dragons. And it looks like the next point of focus is going to be the Herald.
I think importantly as well, we have looked at things through quite an Astralis.
まあ、ウーコンだからね、静かな試合には、まあ、なりますけど。なんかガンクを呼び込むために、比較的にダメージトレードをレーナーがしてくんないと、難しい。
Leader's going to try and jump away, goes back in with a death mark. Dredgeline coming out, Leader ignited, he'll tick down and he will fall. Yankos takes him with the red buff. Rift held on the menu. Ebby coming in from the side as well in 1-1-3. Gonna have to burn that flash. A good hook done from Jonghoon. Finn gets onto the back line. Kobe trying to open up the lightning crash coming in from Jack Spectre.
エビさー
1 for 1 so far in this fight, but Kobe just has
なんでタンクビルドじゃないんですか
from Arcane. He's back chesting everywhere. Astralis going forward and Mercer locked up, taking down another hook connects. Yankos trying to turn it back around. It's a double for Ruby, but Kobe still standing strong, still alive. And in the end, it's a 3 for 3.
3 for 3 in the extended trade. No one's going to pick up the Herald for now, but it is 1-1-3 that is still up on the map. I feel like it's just going to be a reset and another dance around that Herald. But it all starts off with that pick towards Leader. I think Leader just rotating down into the river, just trying to maybe get a little bit of extra information, just meet up with his team. To be honest with you, but Yankos, Mirza, this is what I'm speaking about. I feel like Team Heretics always look the best when you've got these 2 unengaged champions in unison. Leader just biting off a little more than he could chew. I feel like he was probably out, but his flash was
ヘラルドの続きで死んだのか。
to try and survive as the re-engage comes in here from Ebby. Dredgeline interrupts it from Jonghoon. The backline getting dove immediately by Finn as Jack Spectre as well. Just trying to get as much damage out as he can, but you can kind of see Team Heretics, they do quite well when they're all stacked up together, but they start to get outranged by Kobe with the rockets, with lethal.
ラッシュアウトで出るとか、R だけでも投げときゃ、なんかできたかも。 まあでもノーチはうまかったね。
See just the damage that Kobe's already putting out on that Jinx. Had a lot of time to open up, no real threat on him. Heretics, instead of dancing around the Herald, will take a battle in the bot side river, it seems. Infernal Drake already spitting fire at Astralis. 1-1-3 started it up. Yankos going in, the Cyclone used as well. Jonghoon already down. Mercer on the backline as well, just distracting everyone. 1-1-3 dives back in. Yankos gets the smite, because of course he does. The Go Jungler.
Jinx! おー ボディブロックだった。ナイスボディブロックだったけど。
In the end, it's Yankos who secures the smite. Finn, no flash on him, but the counter-striker possibility. Tanks a tower shot. Ruby's back delayed, but still very much in his own hands. Zap used by Kobe. It will just be Jack Spectre cannot stand versus the
花粉やば今日。
for the moment. Astralis, even though they don't get the dragon, do extend their lead to 3k.
They extend their lead, but I feel like Team Heretics are probably going to be very happy about that one. Stopping the soul point being collected there for Astralis now just buys them so much extra breathing room to give Ruby the space he might need to navigate some of these team fights, as the engage was kind of on 2 fronts here. It was Jonghoon and then there was also Mirza on the backside. Yankos almost gets one shot. Fortunately, I think a bunch of Divines is what keeps him alive in the extended as the smite comes in 9 HP. That's what that gets taken down as. Eventually, Team Heretics just forced to retreat. Look at all the AoE damage. Kobe is doing 2 fights back to back as Chase Down is on, and no one from Heretics can really survive except for Mercer. Just about hops out.
Mercer gets out. Jack Spectre and Ruby also escape. In the end, a 2 for 1 across the board. And you can see how close these fights can be. Remember, Astralis, a pretty sizable lead. 2 items completed on Kobe coming into this next fight. Mercer and Heretics will back away from the Rift Herald. Astralis get one of the neutrals at least, but as you say, Heretics will be very happy with the fact they managed to
はい、
delay this game. You can see Ebby, Rage just stacking up. Ruby the same. Jack Spectra still only sitting at 1 item. If he can get to 2, if he can get to 3, it becomes a much harder road for Astralis to find these fights, to find these flanks that really help them out.
Yeah, I feel like Astralis at the moment on this particular breakpoint would be pretty happy to force a couple of fights. So many key item breakpoints still not met quite yet for Team Heretics. Archangels, second item for Jack Spectra, whatever that may be. Another trade here on the map. Looking for more. They should be able to actually crack open the base. I think the resets are going to be super slow, and they're not even going to reset. They're just going to walk to this side lane fight instead. So if Venom Kobe should take this down,
ファイトだ。
but it's about what Team Heretics can maybe, or they won't, but what they can maybe get from this.
Importantly for Astralis,
ずれてる。
down as they walked through this topside jungle.
あー、レンジしないんだ、ここ。
But Astralis were able to keep wise of where Heretics were. They are still chasing, as you say, just making sure they have to take the slow way home. They'll do exactly that. Oh, Jonghyun.
いや、もう行き過ぎ、行き過ぎ、行き過ぎ、行き過ぎ、行き過ぎ、行き過ぎ。ここでファイトしたら、ゼドが TP で飛んでくるぞ。
Channeling these resets. Go back to base with the Baron buff. Now 2 minutes remaining on it. They have a 5,000 gold lead. 2.5 items finished on leader. This Zed has been relatively quiet so far this game. He had consistently got the push on Ruby in the mid lane, giving him credit there. And obviously it's been a while since we've seen a Zed, so maybe this is exactly what you're meant to do, and you just in late game team fights start absolutely blowing
なってくれたからよかったけど、結構際どかった。追いかけすぎ。
Perhaps a little surprise for some people though, as 113 went mandate second on the Maokai here. Gives your team a bit more magic, and 113's just, you know, rapidly right-click through.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, mandate Oblivion Orb, of course.
He's like every coach's nightmare, just hitting whatever the recommended item is.
Don't you do that? I do that all the time. And you're going to try and deal with leader in the side lane here. This is, as you said earlier on, Jamada, exactly where Zed can
Chance.
do a lot of work.
Chance. Chance.
As well, the charm coming out as Finn has to flash away. Mercer taking a lot of damage here. Kobe's going to get excited as he gets that passive up on the Jinx. Jack Spectra so tanky though with that shield. The overhill doing work, but in the end it's a 1-0 in favor of Astralis, and with the Baron buff pushing in, Astralis will take a tower, their 5th of the game.
Astralis is just balling around Kobe. He's got so much range in comparison to what Team Heretics can really offer at this stage in the game, or really at any point in the game. And he's able to just constantly get so much AoE out. Team Heretics, it looks like they're just going to try and commit towards leader. Leader will get out.
Deathmark knocked back. Miasma short though, so leader can still flash. They're on the chase. Leader dashes away with a living shadow, but the barrel will find him. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Astralis take their first inhibitor of the game and continue their 7,000 gold advantage. TP for Ebby a possibility, but with no flash and no barrel, there's a good think he won't use it. There is a ward, as you say, that was pinged out. And in the end, it looks like Heretics do not want to force the matter any further.
Yeah, there were a good couple of wards, but it seems like Team Heretics.
いや、俺グラガスが TP するかなと思った。
Leader gives over his life, but I think he's going to be dying smiling, getting the inhib for his team. So Astralis now have that point of pressure to work with for
and it's not,
the Dragon.
It's not only the inhib, it's also the top inhib tower. Because that makes it so much easier to push in for that inhib in the future. You don't actually have to care about whether you've got a minion wave there. Although I'm sure Finn will try and help his minions march down that top lane pretty rapidly. For the moment though, I think we are
まあ、ゼドがスプリットしてたから結構難しかったけど。
the rest of the game. Jack Spectra on this Zeri has been one of his favorite picks across the course of the split, and there have been a few moments of brightness from him, a few shining lights in the darkness of some of these games for Heretics where Jack Spectra has popped off and he has had good performances. It's just a bit of inconsistency, it seems, as the Gale Force away from Kobe means that Ebby's explosive cast doesn't really get them too much.
Yeah, Jack Spectra had the privilege of following his career quite closely at times, EM, ERLs, and it often feels like he is that little bit of, you know, hope for a lot of teams. We'll see whether or not you can do it here for Team Heretics. He's at 2.5 items. He is still trailing on Kobe, as you would expect. As that's a dredge line, but Jankos will decoy away. And again, it's Astralis who are here first. This is kind of a bit of an issue for Team Heretics. If the engage comes in and they can stick together, then maybe they can find a little bit of success. You can see leader hanging out on the side. It seems like Team Heretics want the flank angle instead. But this dragon is being burned down. Astralis are just going for the kill.
I think this one might just be given up. Jankos blast coned in there. It's going to use the decoy to to get away. Nature's Guard's coming out as well, but they can all just dash back. But Yanko still gets rooted by it. Leader across the wall just absolutely murks him. A good petrifying gaze, but the heal onto Yonghun will keep him alive. Jack Spectre trying to get away from Finn, but with a counter strike, Finn can just dash and dive onto him. The cleanse away. Eddie gets a good knock up, but look at the damage coming out from Astralis. The chase continues. Mercer dives in, but immediately dies. It's a triple. Cobby steals the quadra, and Ebby can only lick his wounds as he's chased away by the Jinx. A lot of people have been on the receiving end of those rockets, and they are not a pretty thing to feel. Astralis may just look to end the game here. Only Ebby survives 13 seconds on Jankos, and Heretic's going to have to wait another day to get the third win that might secure themselves a spot in playoffs. In 95% of scenarios now, Astralis have made it to the group stage.
Astralis get their fourth win and take down.
いや、俺結構分岐点だったのここだと思うんだ。ここでさ、捨てる判断したじゃん。トップタワーを。これトップタワーを捨てないで守りきる判断だったら、ゼリがそのままトップにいるはずなんですよ。だけど、ボットタワーを捨てる判断をして、ミッドにゼリが行って、グラガスがボットを押し込んで、で相手のチームはさ、リコールなわけじゃん。もうワードもなくて。まあ、リコールは見えてるかどうかはあれだけど。で、ラカンが、最後にワード1個持ってたんですよ。このラカンのワードを、俺は、ここに置くと思ったんですよね。ここら辺。こっちから来る、ミッドへの通路に、ワードを置いて、ここが見える位置。で、負けてる側のチームはテンポ取った時に何かアクションして、でグラガスがこれ没頭して、ミッドに寄って、ここでゼドが見えるでしょ。で、ゼリがこのままミッドをしてれば、ここのウェーブ全部食えて、ミッドに押し当てて、でグラガスが先に寄っててゼドが見えてるから、でテンポが完全に TH 側に移るわけじゃないですか。このミッドウェーブを。次にゼリとラカンが同時に消えるから、サイドレーンのマップの影響力は TH の方が上回る時間があった。で、そしたら、今このウェーブが食い切って、で、ルビーが突破して、で、グラガスがそのままミッドにいるじゃないですか。で、今、ゼリラカンが同時に消えてたら、トップも CG ができるわけです。だから、ミッド押し込んで、トップに流れて、トップでジャックスが来て、このタイミングで CG がまたここで人数差絶対生まれるじゃん。で2回人数差が生まれる瞬間があったんです。でも何もしなかったんですよ。だから、この負けてる時に何もアクションを仕返さないっていうゲームをずっとやってると、序盤レーンフェイズで勝たないと一生勝てないっすね。